Well, hello everybody. Today we're joined by Vernon Corum, Zaita Desgupta, and Jessica Larsen. Vernon and Jessica are realtors who are partnered with Jetstream, and we're going to ask them a little bit about their experience so far and trying to get to understand why short-term rentals and realtors make a great partnership. So welcome everybody, and let's get started. Jessica, you're going to go first. What's the opportunity for realtors and short-term rentals?
Well, the opportunity is endless for realtors and short-term rentals. Many states, including my own, require a license for short-term rental management, which puts real estate agents exactly where they need to be to manage these kind of properties. And truly, it's a way to expand upon your existing relationships with your clients that you're buying and selling homes with.
Vernon?
I like that we can market, manage, and monetize short-term rentals for our clients. It keeps us engaged throughout the year with our clients. That it just allows us the opportunity to be more involved in the day-to-day operations after we get the client set up and the investor set up with because normally at closing we're turning it over to someone else that we don't know, we don't trust maybe sometimes. So this is the way better way to do this.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you, so what's changed that now thinks that you guys as realtors have the ability to stay involved in the short-term rental side of things after you've helped a transaction go through to close? Vernon, do you want to start with that one?
I can. It's nice because, when we've been with the client for so long, we've pet their puppies, we've met their children, we've been there through the process. If there's something that slows the process down, if there's something that, we've been involved with the whole process. And so the beauty of this is we're just continuing that relationship instead of, changing and handing it over to someone else. We don't always know if someone has the owner's asset and they're protecting that asset in line whenever we turn it over to them. So the idea here is just for us to stay engaged in the process after that. And to me, it's a wonderful feeling to be able to know that I can take care of my client.
So Jessica, now, I mean, I've been in hospitality for 25 years now. This used to take a ton of time. What's changed recently that means that you can still do your role as a realtor and take on this extra level of property management with your clients?
Sure. Well, I think everything has changed. It's a keyless world, for example. The technology behind managing properties like this has come a long way. If you rely on some of those things to help make your business easier, like a channel distribution tech, which will help you sync your listings out on the internet. These are things that can save you a lot of time. They used to be vortexes. We used to be up in the middle of the night communicating with guests, and you would say short-term rentals, and agents everywhere would shrivel up and die, and it's just not like that anymore. It doesn't have to be that hard.
And Vernon, in terms of the handoff, what do you do as the local guy, and then what does a company like Jetstream handle in your short-term rental business when you partner with them?
Well, normally we're involved in the onboarding process, and what that means is that we basically go help them, get some pictures. We help them get the details about the property. We kind of get some more information about the owner and some of their goals and the things. The great thing about Jetstream is they really have a really truly turnkey system in the back office to where, they provide revenue reports. They provide all of the marketing, all of the ways to monetize the property, and then they go even further and they offer the 24/7 guest support, which is the thing that I used to feel like took up the most of my time. And I still talk to guests. I'm still involved with the guests. I'm still a part of that at times, but generally I just leave it to the professionals. I mean, that's what they're there for. And I love it that they've got some of the best people in the world, across the world. And that's the beauty of what I like about being able to hand it off to Jetstream.
So in terms of...
Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead, Jessica.
To bounce off of guests, let us not forget that is an expansion of your sphere of influence. Every time somebody comes to stay in one of your homes, you have the opportunity to reach back out to them and say, hey, thanks for visiting. Have you ever thought about owning or retiring here? Could we find you a pathway to something like that? So even though you don't want to be managing guests necessarily, these guests can become your future buyers and your future clients and your future owners of investment properties.
So it sounds like you're getting an also as an add-on, a trickle down of warm leads that you can start communicating to, who've been guests with your clients' properties, and then they might be good targets to have a conversation with in the future about retirement or real estate, and coming in, and they already know you as their manager, and so you have a kind of warm introduction. Is that right?
Yeah, I would say that's right.
So just to reiterate, what's the day-to-day look like in terms of, we've got the weekend coming up, there's guests arriving at the properties. Are you involved day-to-day in the guest communication? Have you had to figure out the Airbnb questions? Have you had to figure out what price to sell? Have you had to schedule housekeeping to come in on Sunday morning to clean the units? What are you doing day-to-day? And then what do you do, week to week or month to month or every quarter? Vernon, do you want to go?
I can. Well, basically, what I like about this is this is a seamless system. There's a lot of things that are already in place. There's automated entry, which is incredible, because during COVID, there were so many people that didn't have an opportunity, to meet folks at the properties. But what was amazing about during the COVID and during the shutdowns and the lockdowns here in the East Tennessee area where I'm at in Sevierville, we had opportunities to have folks just come there and hang out, and having the touchless and the keyless entry was an incredible thing. The guest gets a code, and they're welcome to just go and check on in. The guest also gets follow-ups through we have guest apps, and we have things that allow them the opportunity to be kind of on a little bit of an autopilot, but we're there if they need us, but a lot of people don't really want to be messed with on their vacation anymore. They just want to be able to go and enjoy it. The part about the cleaning and the day-to-day operations, we have a scheduler that's attached to the software. All of that's done. My cleaners get a report every day, and they can accept it or reject it, and that helps me. If there's a problem somewhere and I need to do something with a schedule, that's great. I've got other cleaners that I can bring in to help cover those things. But on top of that, for me, I'm spending roughly 4 to 6 hours a week on this. In traditional property management, I was spending 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So
Wow.
For me, the beauty of this is the simplicity of it. And a lot of these things are handled by people who are professionals. Not that I can't do it. It's just I have other things I want to do. I want to focus on my clients. I want to focus on, the owner. I want to focus on that guest on the level that they need me to focus. Not to just be there, for just little simple questions and things that someone else can help us answer. But that's why I trust Jetstream with a lot of those things.
Jessica?
Yeah, I think real estate agents are good at taking listings, right? And a big piece of this is do your work up front. Get your listing, get to know the goals of your owner, make sure that you list your amenities and your features correctly, and you set the guest's expectations up front. That's where the real work comes in. It's not huge. It's stuff we're comfortable with. It sounds basic, but when you do these things up front, that leads to better outcomes for everybody and less problems down the line.
And it sounds like this allows you to keep your listings. So rather than one and done and you've done your transaction, now you're into a longer term relationship. Does that help you down the line when to have those established relationships and have them go into multi-month or even multi-year?
Yeah, absolutely, without question. Way back when, we would refer our listings out to another agent because we honestly didn't know what to do with it. Real estate agents are really savvy, intelligent people, but there's a lot of moving components, and we kind of get stuck in a little sales rut sometimes. And then somebody might need, to get into residential long-term leases or commercial leases, and there's a lot of avenues that you can go. But I think right now there's a big consumer focus on short-term rentals. We're seeing more buyers who are coming into this space who are savvy about ways they can invest and build and pass on generational wealth. So they come to us with this idea of what it is they want to do with their property. And helping them bridge the gap is really the goal. And we cannot do that single-handedly. What we can do is bring them the best tech stack that the industry has to offer and let it work its magic.
Amazing. So for the realtors who are listening, and they're in a conversation with somebody in a transaction who says, I want to buy this vacation rental by the beach, but I need to turn it into some revenue. What's your advice to a realtor perhaps has never got into this before? Who should they contact? What should they say to their owner? And what are the steps involved? Does it cost thousands of dollars to set this whole program up? Does it cost hundreds of hours? What's the if you put yourself into your shoes, 5 years ago before you started doing this, what would you advise your younger realtor self to do? Start with Vernon.
Okay. In general, we always say nothing is free. We usually onboard the properties for free. We normally do a lot of things in this process for free. The thing is that there's value to what Jetstream brings to the table here. The value is that if you need a revenue projection, they can do that. The great thing about it is they can white label it for you too, so it has your branding on it. The other thing is that when you meet with this client, you look really good and professional because you have some of the industry's best behind you. Guys like Ben and Z and Daniel and David, all these folks that are at Jetstream, and Anna. I mean, there are people there that I've got to meet on a personal level, and not only have they become business associates, but they've become personal friends. So, we like to look at this as sort of like a little family now. And the folks that are joining now, it's going to be a great opportunity for you because you're going to be in on kind of what we consider the ground floor. There's nobody building this vertical right now of what Jetstream and we're building right now. So I'm excited about this part of it. And I really believe that that's what would encourage me today as a young person that has no idea of what I was doing. I would get plugged in with people who do know what they're doing, and some veterans and some folks that have been in the industry a while. And as Jessica said earlier, with the best tech stack available to you. And maybe, in my humble opinion, one of the best developing persons in charge of that, which I've met personally and spent time with. And I can tell you right now, these are the things that I'm excited about, to where this is heading.
Thank you, Vernon. That's amazing. Jessica, you're in one of the most beautiful parts of the USA in Cape Cod. I know you've had success with individual clients that you brought into your management program, and you've also brought in other realtors in your area. What did you say to them when they started to reach out to you as a little bit of an expert in your local area? What did you say to them about becoming a property manager in short-term rentals?
Sure. So my first partner on the Cape, she had just sold an amazing oceanfront property. And she came to me and said, Jess, I'm trying to get a couple quotes on renting this house out. Do you want to give me a revenue projection? We've gone to another, big national conglomerate that effectively would become the property manager. And would you like to give her a local quote? And what I basically said to my good friend Sarah was, what would it look like if you kept your listing? What would it look like if that was your listing and you had the exclusive right to rent? That's your client. You've sold the house. Let's talk about what we can do. Find you a local cleaner, get your tech stack all set up, because this is your client. This is your relationship. This is your bread that you're going to put on the table someday. And she swore up and down, I'm one and done. It's just, I'm only doing it because it's an amazing property. I'm one and done. And I believe, within the first couple months, she was working on her third property, because once you get started and you get comfortable in it and you realize that it's not as scary as you had made it out to be in your head, then it becomes sort of fun. Just like everything else we do in real estate. We're entrepreneurs. We get excited about new opportunities and new developments. And that's really what this is. I've been doing short-term rentals for well over a decade, and I can still talk about it all day, like a short-term rental nut. I still sit at a table and think, isn't it exciting that we're able to provide this service for people? And it generates business for me as the agent. It generates money for the owner, and we're also paying a number of, cleaners on site. So it's good that begets good.
Everybody's winning. Talk about, I know in general terms, is this a good way for a realtor to earn some additional income? Really talking to people that they're talking to anyway. What's the trade-off between, an income opportunity for you guys and then the time it takes to manage it day to day? Vernon, what's your experience been so far?
Well, so far so good. As we always say, at closing, you got to you got to already have your next deal, or you've got to have something else in the works. And so in this case, what's the beauty of this is that you're getting a monthly residual every month. Or actually every morning I wake up and I've got an email stating that there's money on the way to my bank. And
Wow.
that sounds kind of MLM-y, I know, and a little bit weird like that, but honestly, realtors are not used to that. They're used to having to go hard, and they're having to, pound those phones all day long, making 300 to 600 calls a day, and just continually. And what's beautiful about this, and I spoke to another lady about this, just the other day, and I'm dealing with some things, with my family. I got a dad that's getting a little bit older, and and Jessica's had some things this week, and some other folks that, we have things that we need to do in our life. And I'm getting to that age now. I'm in my 50s. I'm getting ready to slow down and start looking at other ways. And the beauty of this is that, if you build the foundation when you're younger, which is something that someone taught me a long time ago, was build a residual income, build multiple streams of income. And what's great about this is let's say you have some lean time in January, February 2023. Well, guess what? You're going to have some extra income and some extra revenue coming in that's going to kind of take you through some of those lean times. Maybe you got to take care of mom and dad, or maybe you got to do some things. Maybe you want to travel. The beauty of this is too, you can do this anywhere in the world. I mean, everything is done on your phone basically. So that's what I like about it is it's a business that I can put in my pocket and take it anywhere that I want to go in the world. That's a no-brainer to me.
Yeah. And for the love of God, don't feel like you have to do it all. That's the other thing. I think that's what intimidates most agents is they feel like they're going to be in charge of everything.
Right.
And not only do we have software as systems, but we have this fully integrated guest communications team. There are people operating this tech. There is no expectation that I am going to be sitting behind my computer all day, which I am not. I can avoid it. And so that's the thing. Really be okay with letting go of components that will keep your business easy for you, easy for your owner, easy for your guest. Don't make it harder for yourself feeling like you have to do it all, because it's just not that way anymore.
Right.
Fantastic. So, I mean, I think the key is to the partnerships as real estate professionals. You have just this fabulous network of buyers and sellers and people who are investors. And as a technology and service company, Jetstream is really bringing all of our experience from the hospitality industry, and together we've made some great strides in the past 24 months. If people want to reach out to you directly, do you have an email address or a website? I think if you could share that, and then we'll wrap up and get ready for the show next week.
Sure, I'll go first. I keep a Calendly scheduler at bookwithjessica.com. So if anybody wants to connect and have a conversation about where they're at or where they're going, I am always happy to meet with people and start that conversation.
Okay, I have a webpage that's shorttermpro.com, or I have theshorttermpro.com. And those are two of the best ways to get a hold of me. I also have a calendar. You can book a 15-minute meeting with me there, and that's a great place to get a hold of me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, guys. If you want to reach out to Jetstream and learn more about how we partner with realtors to make short-term rental management a reality, come find us at jetstreamtech.io on the web, or you can find me, Ben Day, on LinkedIn. Thank you very much, everybody. I so appreciate your time today, and we'll see you next week.